Welcome back to FPL Spad, your best place to find FPL content for the 23-24 season. My name is Spad. Today I'm going to share with you my transfer watch list, which has great transfers, lucrative transfers, transfers that are gambles, and transfers that we have to certainly avoid ahead of game week 4. If you like my content, please like and subscribe to my channel for future FPL content and watch along streams. Now let me share with you my transfer watch list for this game week. So first up, we have a great transfer in Rodri from Man City. The next game is at Fulham at home. Price has gone up by 0.2 to 5.7. I expect him to get some good points now. Last week, a few weeks ago, I had him as a gamble transfer. That was my mistake. I should have brought him in. He made quite a lot of points. And he looks like he's continuing going to make those points with key players missing like De Bruyne from their team and getting the clutch goal when his team requires it. So in my opinion, a great transfer to bring in. His predicted points are 4.3 for the next game against Fulham. It's a good transfer to bring in. Next up, we have Areola, cost 4 million for goalkeeper, the cheapest player goalkeeper playing for 4 million. Next game up against Luton away. Good game. The reason why I say he's looking to transfer, his price will keep going up, and it's a great option to have as a second backup keeper. If you have no other transfers to make on field that you're happy with, and you want to use up a free transfer that you have, he's a great option for lucrative transfer. Next up, we have Antonio, cost 6 million. Next game against Luton away. Reason why I say he's a gamble is because they've got some tough games coming up after Luton. He might make you points against Luton, but I don't think he'll make you more points after that because of the hard games they have. His predicted points for the Luton game is only at 3.4. Pretty low compared to the points he's made already so far this season. So I expect him to get more points than predicted, but only for the next game, not for the games after that. Next person we have to avoid in transfer week is Cash for Villa. His predicted points are 2.5, cost 4.5 million. Next game up is against Liverpool away. The main reason why I'm telling you people to avoid him, he's got some hard fixtures coming up even after the Liverpool game. So I don't expect him to make that many points, even though he got 2 goals over the weekend, made the most amount of points for a defender. Great choice to have, but in my opinion, should avoid him. There are other great options for defenders to bring in if you want to bring in a cheap defender. Next up, he's been great transfer for me, gamble transfer for me. Now back to great transfer, Jackson for Chelsea. He got a goal, his first goal over the weekend. His price has already gone up at 7.1. I was supposed to bring him in. Think maybe between him and Alvarez, I chose Alvarez. Backfired on me. Alvarez only made 2 points. Jackson made 7. And with the run of fixtures Chelsea have, I expect him to make a lot of points in those games. Hopefully, a goal maybe each game is a good amount, especially against Nottingham Forest at home, next game at home. His predicted points are 5.8, sorry. And I expect him to get that amount of points. So it's a great transfer to bring in. And next up, we have a lucrative transfer in Gusto for Chelsea. He played the last game week, got 2 assists, 12 points in the end, I think, overall. 14 points. Great return for a defender that's only cost me 4 million. He's gone up my price now to 4.1. I expect his price to keep going up because he's a very cheap defender to have in your team. Even as a 4th defender or 5th defender in your team, very cheap. And I expect him to get points as long as James is out of the team. Even when James returns, I don't think Gusto will lose his place straight away because you have to ease James back in. And even then, James might just get injured yet again. So in my opinion, Gusto is a very lucrative transfer to bring into your team. His predicted points are 3.9. Next up, we have a gamble transfer. Yet again, another West Ham player, Bowen. Had another great game week again last weekend. Has amassed a lot of points in the first 3 games. Reason again, I say it's gamble. They got Luton again this game week away. Easy game. His predicted points are 4.3. But the reason why I say it's a gamble, because the games after this, they are hard. Hard fixtures list for them. So I expect them not to get that many points in those games. But you never know. He's attacking. He's on fire at the moment. He might. So it is a gamble, in my opinion, to bring him in. We could maybe think about maybe some Arsenal players, because Arsenal players have not been firing at the moment. Maybe Martinelli, Odegaard, or Saka. But in my opinion, you keep Saka is a better choice than Bowen, because I expect him to return more. But in my opinion, Bowen is a gamble. Take that into account. Next up, we have the Roy's in James Ward-Prowse. Another West Ham player. I don't expect him to get goals again, especially after the Luton game. Maybe a free kick here and there. But as he is a set piece specialist, he could get goals for you. But in open play, I don't expect him to get that many goals or assists in the coming game weeks with the hard fixture list they have. His predicted points are 4.2. Still costs 6 million. Not that expensive, but in my opinion, avoid him. Don't bring him in. Next up, we have another Chelsea player, Sterling. Had an amazing game week. I think he scored the highest for a midfielder during the last game week. Was maybe an option for me, but I had other priorities at the moment, which in the end backfired for me anyway, because I took Nunes out from Alvarez, and that was a complete backfire for me. I took an L there, big L in my opinion, because I had him for the first 2 weeks, and then I took him out, and then forget about that. Sterling, great choice to bring in. He has been performing in the first 2 games, and then he showed what he's about in the last game. I know it's against Luton, an easy fixture at home, but the next fixture again is easy at Nottingham Forest, and they have got easy fixture list after that as well. And his predicted points are 5.3. His price has already gone up by 0.1, so he's 7.1 million. His price will continue to increase again during this game week, in my opinion, to 7.2, because I expect a lot of people to start bringing them in as a gamble by taking Arsenal players or maybe United players out. I know United players did return some points in the last game, but they have got some hard fixtures coming up after this game week. So, in my opinion, Sterling is a great option as a great transfer to bring in. Next up, we have a lucrative transfer. I had him as a void a couple of weeks ago. L for me. He has been taking him, bringing in points. Reason why he's lucrative now is because people are transferring him in. His price will continue to rise. His price has gone to 4.6 at the moment, up by 0.1. Next game is Wolves at home. A decent game for them, so he might get some clean sheet points there. His predicted points are 4.2. I expect him to get points here and there, but he's only in this list because it's a lucrative transfer and the price will keep going up. Next transfer that we have is Isak. In my opinion, he's a gamble. Reason being is because Newcastle got some hard games coming up now as well. 50-50. But what we'll be seeing in the pattern in the last 3 games, that he comes off early in the games, between 60 to 70th minute, which is not good for FPL managers because we're not getting a full return on what we're paying for. He's rotating, like he's bringing him for Wilson. And I don't think Wilson will be happy sitting on the bench for that many game weeks coming off the bench. So in my opinion, he's a gamble transfer. His price has gone up twice now to 7.7. So some people have still been bringing him in. The next game is against Brighton away and predicted points of 4. Next, somehow, now he was a great transfer last week, but at the moment, he's an avoid for me. It's Spininian. His price has gone up to 5.3 now. The next game is against Newcastle at home. So it's going to be a hard game, and their fixture list from now for the next 4 or 5 game weeks is very, very hard. So in my opinion, if you don't already have him, don't go out there trying to get him because you won't get the same returns that we got in the last few game weeks that you saw. So if you already have him, fair dues. But if you don't and you want to bring him in, avoid him. Not a transfer that I'll be looking to bring in. Just like my next transfer, Mitamo, another avoid. His price is 6.6, got up by 0.1. I don't expect his price to keep going up because of the hard fixture list. I don't see many FPL managers bringing him into their team. A lot of people already probably have him. Probably looking to transfer him out for another midfielder, maybe, aka Sterling, one of my great transfers I said earlier, if they got money in the bank. And at the moment, with the way FPL is going, a lot of people do have money in the bank. So in my opinion, avoid Mitamo, same as March. I know March is not on the list, but they're both the same price. Avoid both of them from now because they got some games coming up that are really, really hard. And next up, we have a big gamble in Jesus. His price has gone down by 7.9 because obviously he's been injured. But in the last game week, he was on the bench. He didn't come off the bench to get help Arsenal get the win. Probably did need him, but he wasn't probably nowhere near fit because they drew the last game. But you never know. He might be fit and ready for the next game. Big game against United at home. They probably do need him, but it's all about his fitness. So that's why he's a gamble. But certainly after this game week, we were a great transfer to bring in because that'll be after the international break. He should be fully recovered. His fitness should be up to scratch, and he'd be great to bring in then. But for this game week, he's a gamble because we don't know if he's going to start or how fit he is from his returning injury from surgery. So in my opinion, a gamble. Next up, we have a lucrative transfer in Udigi for Tottenham. He got good amount of points last game week for them. He was on my list to bring in between him and Colwell. When Shaw got injured, I chose Colwell and put Colwell on the bench anyway. So that was an L for me again. I could have someone on my stream told me to bring Udigi in instead. I chose to go with Colwell. Could have brought on Udigi, played him instead of Trent, and made 11 more points. But the reason why he's a lucrative transfer, he's up there right now of being transferred in by most FPL managers, and I expect his price to keep going up, maybe even tonight or tomorrow night. So get him in. If you're strapped on cash, get him in as soon as possible. His price will keep going up. A very lucrative transfer in my opinion. And finally, we have a great transfer in Maddison. He was a great transfer for me last week as well, and he's a great transfer for me this week again. His predicted points in the next game is 5.1. They're playing away to Burnley. His price has gone up by 0.1 already to 7.6. He's been heavily transferred in already, and I expect his price to go up again very soon. He's a great transfer. He makes Tottenham tick at the moment. He's making them like key part on all the attacking plays for Tottenham. So in my opinion, if you want a Tottenham player, he's a great option to bring in. Now, if you view this transfer watch list, the 4 great transfers that we have in Sterling, Maddison, Jackson, and Rodri. These are the 4 transfers that I'm considering. One of them will definitely be my transfer for this game week. I will probably maybe even do it tonight, maybe a couple of days, depending on if I think the price will be going up tonight. If I think the price is going up tonight, I might do my transfers tonight to avoid the price rise and save some money. But in my opinion, the 4 great transfers that we have will be a great transfer for any FPL managers to bring into your team for this game week and for the future game weeks to come. Then the 4 lucrative transfers, all 4, I think, in my opinion, will increase in value. All cheap defenders. I've chosen 4 cheap defenders for a reason, because no one wants to really have a midfielder just in your team just to make some profit. You do that with the cheap defenders as your 4th or 5th defender in your team to get some cheap profit for future help. And the gambles, some of them are real gambles, some of them are like 50-50s, some of them are 25%. In my opinion, I would avoid all of them for this game week and maybe future game weeks, depending on what we see in this game week. And the avoids, just stay away from them. They are not good transfers in by any FPL manager. I don't see anyone bringing. I see some rookies maybe bringing in cash because the points they see that he's made in the last game 3 weeks and not look at the fixture list. But in my opinion, you have to avoid those 4 players. And that is it for this transfer watch list. So that's it for this transfer watch list. I hope you enjoyed and found it interesting. If you think I missed some players out that I should have in there instead, please leave a comment in the video. I might mispronounce some player names, but I hope you understood what I meant. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe to my channel for future FPL content. Thank you again for joining me to watch my video. See ya!